What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I'm here to talk about UFC 319 and give you guys my full card predictions for this super stacked pay-per-view card. I'm very excited about this. I'm looking forward to a lot of these fights on the prelims and obviously on the main card. I mean, we've got this main event that has been keeping me fucking awake at night between DDP and Hamza Chamay. We got Lerone Murphy, bruv, the youngest prospect at featherweight, the future of this division, versus Aaron Pico. We got Jeff Neal versus CP, one of my favorite fighters to watch. We got Jared Cannonier versus MVP. You know, Tim Elliott, Kaio, Sakura. That's a badass fight. Prelims, we got GM3, Chase Hooper, Brian Battles on there, Edson Barbosa. And the rest are nobodies. But hey, man, let's get into this. The UFC is one of the cheapest companies of all time. They just signed a $7 billion fucking deal. I'm not kidding. They can't even update their fight card on Google. So the first fight of the night is actually between two random flyweight jobbers from Tough. We got Alibi Adirius versus Joseph Morales. And I'm going to be picking Adirius to win this fight by decision. I am a little bit worried, though, because Morales is definitely more technically sound. Like, I've watched both of these guys fight on Tough, and I will say that Adirius, he blitzes in a lot. He has nice kicks once he's done throwing his punches. He has really nasty knees, and he is a very aggressive fighter. He does mix in a lot of takedowns. Joseph Morales, I would say he's more experienced. Even though their records are kind of similar, Morales has fought in the UFC before, and he's just more technical. Like, he just seems more composed when they fight, but Adirius is just a lot more dangerous. So I am gonna put this out there. I am fence sitting a fucking unranked Tough fight between two midgets. I don't care. This is what I do. I am worried that Adirius's blitzes are gonna get countered with takedowns, and he's just going to get fucking smudged and outboxed. But he does use a lot of grappling and wrestling to set up his finishes. So I think he's going to be able to use that physicality, that aggressiveness, and his grappling abilities to kind of avoid takedowns from Morales and get jabbed up a little bit, but mix in takedowns and make Morales a little bit uncomfortable. And I think at some point he's going to, in the first round, he's going to find a head kick or a right hand or a knee on the break of something like that to hurt Morales and just start to take over. I can see him starting to get takedowns of his own and just being more physical, more aggressive, more damaging than Morales and winning by decision. Obviously, he could win by KO, but I'm going to say because this is flyweight, I'm not going to bank on this guy winning by fucking KO. The only flyweight I'm picking by knockout consistently is like prime King Von Davis and Figueiredo. So yeah, I'll take Adirius to win this fight by decision. Next fight of the night, we got Carini. Dude, this is a fucking banger, dude. I can't wait for this, man. I can't fucking wait, dude. We got Carini Silva versus Diony Barbosa. I mean, dude, I've been losing sleep over this one. I can't fucking wait, dude. Okay. I'm going to pick Carini Silva to win this fight by decision. I think that both these girls are kind of solid grapplers. I'm not going to pretend I've ever watched them fight before, but the grappling probably cancels out. I would say both of them are solid, more grapplers than strikers. Like, they have a lot of submission wins on their record. The grappling probably will get canceled out in this fight, and I think Silva with the reach advantage, the fighting nodes, plot armor, you know, the residual fighting nodes, plot armor. We'll talk about why she doesn't have full-blown fighting nodes, plot armor. But I think the residual fighting nodes, plot armor, the reach advantage, the physicality advantage, she's going to win by decision via striking. I don't really know. I don't really care. Probably not even going to watch this fight. But the rest of the card, I'm very excited for. Let's talk about this matchup. We got Brian Battle versus Nursultan Ruziboyev. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I first saw this matchup, I was fucking shitting myself, yeah? As a Brian Battle enjoyer, I was absolutely shitting bricks because Nursultan Ruziboyev, he has nasty power. He has so many MMA fights on his record. He has very high finishing potential, and he's a giant middleweight. He's like 6'5". This guy definitely needs to try out for the fucking Houston Rockets or something. I don't know what he's doing trying to go on a middleweight title run. We need an NBA championship run from this guy. The Charlotte Hornets could fucking use you, bro. We need some fucking help, dude. So I don't know what this guy's doing, but he is extremely dangerous. I will be picking Brian Battle, though. I'm going to say Brian Battle wins this fight by decision. I could see a submission. I'm going to say he wins by decision, though, because Brian Battle, when I look at this matchup, He has a cardio advantage. That's very obvious. He uses his cardio to kind of melt people and break people down. The Kevin Jousset fight was one of his best performances. He does have good striking, does have solid power, but his biggest weapon is his grappling, and I do think he has a grappling advantage over Nursultan Ruziboyev. All of my fears went away when I rewatched Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Dustin Stoltzfus, and this guy nearly got submitted by Dustin Stoltzfus. I'm like, all right, we're going to a decision with Stoltzfus. I think we're gonna be okay. Bryan Battle, you can say what you want about him. He's going to a decision with just a certain level of competition. I don't like the Rinat Fakhretdinov loss, but I think Nursultan Ruziboyev is not the level of technical wrestler that Fakhretdinov is. I think he has the power to maybe drop Bryan Battle, but I also feel like Bryan Battle is not at a big size disadvantage in this fight. He was a middleweight when he fought on Tough. He was a big welterweight. He missed weight against Randy Brown. And I think in this fight, he's going to use his speed and his cardio and his grappling advantage to really pressure Ruziboyev, get close to him to kind of take away the long-range strikes of Ruziboyev, because the most dangerous thing is that right hand down the middle. Like, Ruziboyev is fucking nasty with the uppercut and the right hand down the middle. But I think Bryan Battle's just going to clinch him up, get a hold of him, pressure him, put him back against the fence, really start to wear him down. And I do think there will be grappling exchanges in this fight, and I trust Bryan Battle to out-scramble this guy. I think as this fight goes on, Bryan Battle's going to be landing clinch strikes up against the fence, knees, elbows. I think in the grappling, he's going to get takedowns. He's going to control scrambles if Ruziboyev tries to grapple. And I think he's going to eventually start threatening submissions, land ground and pound. And I think he's going to win round 2 and 3. I do worry early on. I think Ruziboyev is extremely dangerous in round 1. Like I said, the right hand down the middle, the uppercut. But I think that he is wild and scrappy, and he does slow down as fights go on. And Bryan Battle, he starts out shit, but he gets good as fights go on. So I'm going to say Bryan Battle loses the first round, and then round 2 and 3, he locks in with the clinch, with the striking, with the knees to the body, starts getting takedowns, controlling him, looking for submissions. Ruziboyev kind of fights out, and that kind of gasses him out a little bit. I won't say like Austin Vandervoort, like Nikolai Varetnikov type shit, but that's kind of what I envision. Ruziboyev's dangerous on the feet. Bryan Battle starts getting takedowns, starts really just pressuring him, melting him up against the fence, starts to slow him down a little bit, lands some ground and pound, threatens some submissions, and wins by decision, and has a fucking wicked promo on the mic. I'm going to say Bryan Battle does get this one done, but it is dangerous. I think early on it's going to be scary, but he has a reach advantage, so I think he'll be okay defensively early on. He'll get on the inside. He'll have a much more composed game going long in the fight, like round 2 and 3, right? So I'm gonna say Bryan Battle wins that fight by decision. Okay, man. Okay, next up we got Edson Barbosa versus Drakkar Klose. I'm gonna be picking Edson Barbosa. I know that Drakkar Klose is a little bit younger, and I don't know. He just has maybe people think he has a size advantage because he's fighting at lightweight. Edson Barbosa went down to featherweight, but I really don't see anything Drakkar Klose is going to do in this matchup that I'm like, yeah, dude, Edson Barbosa is really in danger in this fight. Drakkar Klose, there's a magical script every time that this guy fights, and there's a reason why I'm picking Edson Barbosa, and I'm probably going to say Barbosa by like round 1 or 2 knockout, honestly, because Drakkar Klose, I have no doubt he's going to start off super aggressive in this fight. I think that he's going to potentially mix in some takedowns or do something like that to kind of get out to a good start in this fight early on, because he's coming off a knockout loss. I'm pretty sure he's going to start out a little bit like trying to course correct, and I think that he's going to start out really aggressive, maybe even hurt Edson Barbosa. But if you've watched Drakkar Klose fight before, and ball, that this guy, you may look at his record and be like, that's not that bad. Or you look at his topology, you see that he's been on little win streaks here and there. They are not against the level of opposition of Edson Barbosa. And there is this magical thing that happens every time Drakkar Klose fights someone dangerous. That's not a fucking midget, dude. He goes out there, he hurts them, he gets excited, his chin fucking starts to go up, his hands start to come down, he goes at him with the fucking D-Rod Blitz, and he gets chinned. That is what happens, dude. And I think that when you combine the fact that you look at Drakkar Klose's win streaks and all this stuff, as soon as he gets matched up against someone that's ranked UFC competition, like, Joel Alvarez and Beneil Dariush, and I think Edson Barbosa is ranked material, especially at featherweight, maybe not at lightweight at this point in his career, but he is still dangerous. And I point to that Sadiq Youssef fight where he started off completely fucking cooked. Like, deadass got 10-8'd in the first round. And then in round 2 and 3, he locks in with the jab. He starts going to the body really well. Even against Lerone Murphy, in all of Edson Barbosa's losses that I can remember, except maybe Khabib and Giga Chikadze, you know, there is a moment where he rocks his opponent. Even if he looks like shit. Even my GOAT, Kevin Lee, who finished Edson Barbosa, there was the legendary chicken dance from Kevin Lee when he fought fucking Edson Barbosa. So I think that in this fight, Drakkar Klose is going to start out super aggressive, maybe rock him early on or just be piecing him up early on with the hands, you know, throwing big overhands. But I think Drakkar Klose is going to get a little bit excited. He's going to get a little bit wild. And I think at some point, the tide is just going to fucking turn, dude. He's going to get caught with something and get chinned and go out because he's chinny. And when he fights this level of fighter, he gets chinned. He gets excited and he gets chinned. I think that Edson Barbosa, not only do I look at the weaknesses of Drakkar Klose, but I also think Edson Barbosa does a really good job going to the body. And that's something that's going to bring down the hands of Drakkar Klose, not to mention the leg kick threat and just the spinning attacks of Edson Barbosa. I think that it's going to be like Drakkar Klose comes out throwing leg kicks. You know, Edson Barbosa's missing his leg kicks early on. He's looking a little bit tired already somehow. And then Unk is just going to settle in, start to land his jab, kind of ride with some of the big shots of Drakkar Klose, start mixing up shots to the body. And I don't know whether it's going to be like a right hand to the body, left hook up top, or maybe like a spinning wheel kick to the head, or, you know, maybe a jumping knee or something like that. But I think Drakkar Klose is going to be doing good and then get rocked really badly and get put up against the fence and get finished. I think it's going to be either late round 1 or early round. I'm feeling a round 2 finish for Edson Barbosa, dude. I'm feeling like Barbosa is going to have a bad first round and then clutch up a little bit. Drakkar Klose is going to get excited. He's going to walk into a big shot and he's going to get chinned in the second round. But I'm excited for this fight. I feel like either way it's going to be a finish. That's what I'll say about that matchup. So my early prelim predictions, I've got Edson Barbosa, I've got Brian Battle by decision, I've got Carini Silvo, and I've got Alibi Adirius, whatever the guy's name is. Now let's talk about a real fucking fight, dude. Chase Hooper, baby. Chase Du Bronx. Do not let anyone else convince you that they started this bandwagon, because I fucking started it. And yes, it is because Chase Hooper let me interview him, dude. Yes, that is part of the reason, but I don't care. And yes, it's because we're identical twins. I don't care, dude. I can relate heavily to Chase Hooper and everything that he says after his fights. We can all relate to Chase Hooper. We all good. Nah, listen, I'm picking Chase Hooper by decision. I do think that he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to look good, especially in the grappling. I am a little bit worried about the power of Hernandez. I will say that. Now, I think as this fight goes on, if you've watched Hernandez fight for a long time, you know that he slows down as a fight goes on. And he's very inconsistent. And honestly, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I feel like he's on a 2-fight robbery streak. I feel like he lost to Kurt Holobau, and I feel like he lost to Austin Hubbard, and I just don't rate those wins that highly. The Jim Miller win that he had was really good, and I do think there's things that he's going to do well against Chase Hooper. I think he's going to land good calf kicks early on. I think that he has a big power advantage on the feet. And Chase Hooper has improved his striking, but his defense is still fucking terrifying. If you're a Chase Hooper fan, you are terrified watching this guy strike on the feet. I feel like in the first round, he's either going to land a left hook on Chase Hooper that rocks him, or he's going to land a big right hand as Hooper steps in for a 1-2. But I think that Alexander Hernandez, if he drops Chase Hooper or hurts him, he's going to do something fucking dumb. He's going to either get overzealous and rush him and get swept and end up on the bottom, or he's going to shoot a fucking takedown because he doesn't know what to do. He's like, oh my God, I rocked him. I want to finish him. You know, he's going to shoot a takedown, end up in a ghillie attempt, get scrambled on top. I think once they grapple, that Chase Hooper is going to out-scramble and control this guy. He has some of the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC. I really enjoy watching him scramble, and I feel like he's so good against every type of lightweight that tries to bully him. Like most people, I think physicality would be a weakness for someone like Chase Hooper. It's almost like good for him that he gets bitched by some of these guys. Like, I don't know how to explain. Listen, hear me out, dude. The way that Chase Hooper fights, he does get bitched in a lot of his fights. Like, I'm just saying straight up, people can ragdoll him. People can take him down. People can manhandle him. They do have a strength advantage over him. They usually have a power advantage, but it's almost good for him because it makes them tired, and he's so good at just flowing with bad positions and ending up in good spots. And I think that the way that Chase Hooper fights is going to make Alexander Hernandez start off really well, but then burn out quickly, because not only in the grappling do I think that it's going to be constantly just trying to hold down Chase Hooper, which is just impossible. Trying to hold down Chase Hooper, getting out scrambled, getting his back taken. But I think on the feet that Chase Hooper has not like good weapons to kind of slow down Hernandez and put a pace on him. I think the front kicks to the body are going to be really effective. I think that he's going to push back Hernandez in round 2 and 3 with his boxing combinations, and then throwing in body kicks and head kicks, which I think will make Hernandez kind of jog around on the back foot and get kind of tired. And I think as the fight goes on, the pace is going to favor Chase Hooper way more than Hernandez. And we're going to see Chase Hooper in the first round get maybe rocked or knocked down or taken down, then scramble, finish the round on top, but maybe it's a Hernandez round. And then round 2 and 3, I feel like Hernandez is going to slow down a little bit. Chase Hooper's going to land like front kicks to the body, fucking 1-2s down the middle, pick up the pace a little bit, start mixing in takedowns. I think he's going to be able to get, back control as well. I definitely see him taking Hernandez's back like multiple times in this fight and just starting to wear him down with grappling. I think the takedowns will get easier for him as the fight goes on. And I think Chase Hooper is going to cardio mog Alexander Hernandez. I think he's going to land front kicks to the body. I think he's going to out scramble him, really start to pour it on in round 3. With the sub attempts and the scrambling and the control from the back, maybe some ground and pound, but mainly what Chase Hooper's good at is out scrambling you, throwing little pitter-patter combos on the feet to kind of put you on the back foot and then taking you down, getting on your back, controlling you. And I think that's what he's going to do in this fight. I think there's potential for him to get a finish by submit. Like if Hernandez gasses out really fucking badly, I could see Hooper getting a sub, but I'm going to say Chase Hooper wins by decision in this fight. So I'm going to say 29-28 Chase Hooper. The Chase Du Bronx title run will continue. We are literally Charles Oliveira 2.0, dude. I'm telling you right now, dude. We are getting the fucking belt. We are getting dropped by Topuria in round 1 and subbing him in round 2. This guy is the fucking future of the division. I fuck with Chase Hooper, all right? Next fight of the night, man. Can't wait, dude. I was kind of planning to do a monologue in this video about how the WMMA fights have actually been pretty good lately in the UFC. Like, all of these cards, I feel like the meme is kind of, oh, this WMMA fight is trash, blah, blah. But then you watch the card, and honestly, one of the highlights of most cards has been the random women's MMA war on the prelims. But I'm sorry, I just can't be fucking asked to watch Jessica Andrade in Big 2025. She's only 33 years old, and she's already 26-14, completely fucking washed up. I'm sorry, Andrade is just washed. There's no other way to say it, dude. I feel like Godinez, I don't even rate her that highly. I don't look at any Godinez wins and be like, dude, Godinez is a fucking problem, dude. Like, she lost to Mackenzie Dern. Pretty sure she beat Tabitha Ricci by split decision, which is like, whatever, dude. But I think with Andrade, she's just washed, bro. And she's just a little fucking blockhead, dude. I think Godinez is going to outbox her with the Alexa just blockhead women's MMA boxing. And then at some point, all she has to do is shoot a fucking takedown. If you put Jessica Andrade on her back, she's cooked. She's done. It's over. That's it, dude. That's it. It's done. It's over, Your time is over. That's it, As soon as you put Andrade on her back, she fucking turns over and gives up her neck, or she wrestles up and gives up her neck and gets guillotined, or she gets rear naked choked. So I'm going to say Lupe Godinez wins by submission inside 2 rounds. Again, either via guillotine or a fucking rear naked choke, and Andrade is washed. Mate, who gives a fuck? All right. Let's talk about some real fucking fighting, dude. Let's talk about some real high-level MMA, all right? GM3 versus Mikuel Jek. Jek is a massive favorite going into this fight. I don't know who gassed you guys up to pick Mikuel Jek. 2-1 favorite over GM3. I'm picking fucking GM3, dude. There's a really simple fucking scoring system when it comes to picking GM3. I'm a mastermind at this, and I know now that I say this, I'm going to get this one wrong. I don't care. I'm going to stick to this, bro. Most of the time when it comes to GM3, you have to look at a couple of factors. What's their takedown defense percentage? How good are they on the feet? And, do they have enough power to KO GM3? Or do they have the physicality and the skills to out-grapple him and submit him? That's really what it is. I'm looking at takedown defense, I'm looking at grappling abilities, and I'm looking at how hard you can hit. Because I feel like to beat GM3, you have to either be able to kind of be like Brad Tavares and stuff all his takedowns. You have to be like Rainier DeRitter and be honestly better than him at grappling, but worse than him at striking somehow. Or you have to be fucking Joe Pyfer, kid, and fucking slime him out with the right hand. Mikuel Jek is none of those things in my opinion. Mikuel Jek can train with the fighting nodes as much as he wants. He can show up on Gene Silver's vlog and all this shit. You are a middleweight jobber, dude. Don't think I forgot that you got your arm broken by Kevin Holland a year ago. Don't think I forgot about that shit, because I didn't. Alright, brother? Your best win is fucking Sam Alvey or Cedricus Dumas. I'm not buying it, dude. Mikuel Jek has 48% takedown defense. Come on, mate. That's like Darren Till level takedown defense. He has good power. He has good boxing. I think he has improved via training with the fighting nodes, but this is what I'll say in terms of the fighting nodes. Number one, you don't get fighting nodes plot armor if you move there. I've seen this. I've played these games before. Thiago Moises thought he was slick going to fighting nodes. Bro still can't get on a fucking 2-fight win streak. Bruna Brazil. She's like Voldemort on this channel. I'm hesitant to even say her fucking name, because I remember the UFC 312 video. I was glazing the fuck out of Bruna Brazil. Oh, she trains with fighting nodes. Dude, she's on the fighting nodes, bro. She's gonna destroy fucking Wong Tong. And this bitch ruins my fucking parlay, and I go 1 for 11 on predictions. So I'm not buying the, oh, he's moved to the fighting nodes. He's improved leaps and bounds. I think he's improved a little bit. But I don't think he has the takedown defense. I don't think he has the grappling. And I don't even think he has the one-shot KO power that I could go, you know what, GM3 is that shit on the feet, he'll get chinned by this guy. This guy's last win was Dumas, and it was like a forearm to the temple. Bro fluked a KO win of a Flight React, and I'm supposed to pick this guy to beat GM3. I don't think that's gonna happen, dude. I don't think that's happening. I'm going to say that this motherfucker will be getting GM3'd, aka he's going to drop GM3 and win the first round. I'm going to be shitting my pants, and then round 2 and 3, GM3 is going to take over. He's going to get his takeover. He's going to activate Hall of Fame Flukester, and he's going to fraud check Mikuel Jek and submit him in round 3. I'm going to say late round 2, early round 3 submission. GM3 will be winning this fight. That's just the way that this game goes, dude. I'm picking GM3, dude. If he can beat Edmund Shablazian, I really do think he'll beat Mikuel Jek. That's just where I draw the line, okay? Main event of the prelims, we've got Bobby Queen Green versus Diego Ferrero. This fight gonna be the fucking shit, dude. This fight gonna be the fucking shit, dude. Straight up. I'm picking Ferrero by TKO. I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry, Robert. I'm picking Diego Ferrero to win this fight by knockout. Bobby Green's chin is completely fucking gone, dude. This guy got colded by Paddy Pimblett via triangle. And not to mention the Mauricio Rufy knockout. Not to mention the Jalen Turner knockout. Not to mention the fact that every time Jim Miller touched this guy's chin, he was doing he was twerking in the octagon, bro. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not picking this guy, bro, because he fluked the win over Grant Dawson. I'm ready to eat humble pie if he schools Diego Ferrero and I'm a casual, but I think that Bobby Green, it's really not that complicated. He doesn't have the type of style that I'm going to pick to beat Ferrero. I think he has solid takedown defense, but I think to beat Carlos Diego Ferreira, you have to be a grappler like a Grant Dawson, Gamrot, Dariush, these type of guys that can out-scramble him and gas him out. That's really the weakness of Ferrero. If you get him to round 3 and he's kind of gassed out, you're going to beat him. If you can scramble with him and end up on top, you're going to beat him, right? If you don't have the grappling to hang with this guy or to smudge him, or you just have to straight up strike with him and you're not Dustin Poirier or some shit, I think you're going to get rocked and you're probably going to get chinned if you're Bobby Queen Green. So I think that, Bobby Green's doing well early on, and I think he gets put out with a fucking overhand, or he gets rocked with a big left hook and kind of starts doing his little chicken Bambi legs animation. I think he's getting finished in this fight inside 2 rounds by knockout. I just think that the chin is absolutely cooked. And yeah, I'm going to pick Diego Ferreira to win this fight by knockout. That's what I'm saying, man. So my picks for the prelims, I got Diego Ferreira. I got GM3, the fucking middleweight GOAT. I got Lupi Godinez. And I'm confidently picking Chase Hooper to win this fight. Let's move on to the main card. First fight of the night, we've got Tim Elliott, who is somehow still, not only in the UFC, ranked a number 11 in this fucking weight class after years of inactivity and a loss to Muhammad Mokaev. I'm picking Kaio Sakura by knockout. Inside 2 rounds. Guarantee. Darren fucking T, dude. Listen, man. Tim Elliott, what is he going to do to Kaio Sakura, bro? His best weapon is his grappling. Kaio Sakura has elite level takedown defense. He looked great against Pantoja in terms of his takedown defense. And I think that outside of the grappling of Tim Elliott, I've watched this guy get nearly chinned by fucking Tagirul and Bekov, right? This guy had to cheat his ass off against Muhammad Makayev and Ulanbekov. He beats random jobbers at bantamweight on short notice in the Apex. But outside of that, I think Kaio Sakura is going to be way too big of a flyweight. I think that he's not going to get physically bullied by Tim Elliott, who can kind of fight at flyweight and bantamweight. I would say Kaio Sakura fits that description as well, except he has great takedown defense. He's younger. He's not nearly 40 years old. I think that he has a major striking advantage, especially countering wrestling with knees, with uppercuts. You know, even clinch striking, I think he's going to do a lot of damage to Tim Elliott. I think Kaio Sakura is going to be a nightmare for Tim Elliott to take down. I think that he's going to, you know, be blasting leg kicks early on against Tim Elliott, making him kind of emote and be all awkward on the feet. And I don't think Elliott's going to have much success taking down Sakura. I think he's going to get finished inside 2 rounds. It's either going to be a knee as he's coming in or like a big right hand out in the open. Like, he goes for a takedown, Kaio Sakura kind of gets back up, they go back out in the open. Sakura feints a level change, boom, right hand, drops Tim Elliott bad, follows up with a big knee as he's trying to lean in for a takedown, starts landing ground and pound, ref stops it. I think Kaio Sakura is going to finish Tim Elliott inside 2 rounds. I feel the knees are a really big weapon against somebody like Tim Elliott. I know that he's not a traditional fighter, he does a lot of weird, awkward, scrambly stuff, and that makes him kind of hard to deal with, but I'm just thinking about the reach advantage of Sakura, the fact that he has such good kicks and knees. He did show great takedown defense against Pantoja. Like, you compare him to fucking Kai Kara-France. Top 5 flyweight Kai Kara-France. This guy's getting backpacked for 20 minutes straight of the fight. At least Kaio Sakura defended some fucking takedowns. At least he landed a fucking flying knee. That rocked Pantoja, right? Like, this guy is dangerous. So, I trust Kaio Sakura. I'm going to pick him to win this fight by knockout. All right, man? Next fight of the night, we got Jared Cannonier versus MVP. Oh, my days, mate. Mate, MVP, he's going to be the bloody middleweight double champion of the UFC, mate. Oh, my days. My dream pay-per-view is Leon Edwards versus MVP. What a technical matchup. I'm picking fucking Jared Cannonier, dude. Fuck this. I'm picking Jared Cannonier, man. The thing with... And this is funny to me because the UFC, I'm pretty sure Jared Cannonier said, listen, I turned down a bunch of shit. The UFC kind of is mad at me and I think they gave me this fight as a punishment. What's the punishment here? Getting beat by split decision? Like, I'm sorry, if MVP wins, it's by split decision. It's by boring fucking decision. MVP in the UFC is doing literally nothing to anybody. I think he's maybe landed 3 good shots in his entire UFC run so far. I'm not trying to hate on MVP, but I'm just being honest. Like, this guy is a point fighter of the highest fucking order in the UFC. This isn't Bellator prime MVP. This is near 40-year-old MVP. I think that, honestly, Wonderboy is more exciting than MVP. And MVP, he just does nothing in his fights. I think he beats a certain level of UFC fighters. Like, if you're a ploddy, unranked middleweight like fucking Shara Bullet, like, Shara Bullet's quick, but I just don't think he's that high level of a striker. I just think he's a bully against jobbers at middleweight, right? But Jared Cannonier is a ranked, legit, solid middleweight. Like, I think Jared Cannonier is really fucking good. I do think early on he's going to have to make some adjustments to figure out MVP, but I feel like what MVP does is he just throws 10 strikes around and he jumps around at range for 70% of the fight is just him. Oh, I'm going to throw some. Oh, I'm going to throw some. Oh, I'm going to do something. And against Cannonier, I just don't think that's going to be super effective. I think Cannonier is going to be aggressive with his head movement, just stepping in, trying to get a hold of him. I think he's going to be using weapons that are pretty effective against someone like MVP. The first thing that comes to mind is the calf kicks of Jared Cannonier, which are very, very effective. And I think those are going to work well against MVP. I think that his ability to get takedowns and mix in the clinch is something underrated about Jared Cannonier. Against Imavov, Robocop, Baralho, he mixed in the clinch really, really well, and he got takedowns against Imavov pretty easily. And I think against MVP, he's going to get a hold of him, probably take him down at some point, even if it's just for a second, to make MVP get back up from underneath a huge middleweight. And I think on the break of clinches, which MVP does end up in a lot by himself. It's not just that I think Cannonier is going to clinch. I think MVP, when he's done blitzing with his big right hand, he usually runs into you and clinches you up. And I think in the clinch, Jared Cannonier has an advantage striking in the clinch. I think he's going to land big elbows. I think he's going to potentially look for some trips or, bully Page into the cage and, look to beat him up against the fence. I think this is going to be a somewhat boring fight until like round 3. I think that this is going to be Jared Cannonier looking for calf kicks, MVP looking for his right hand, and Jared Cannonier mixing in takedowns, looking to land his jab, find him a little bit more as round 2 and 3 comes. But I just assume in this fight he will at least attempt and get some takedowns, even if it's just for a little bit of control time, like I said, to slow MVP down. I think in round 1, MVP is going to be his most elusive. He's going to land something like a right hand. Maybe he rocks Cannonier a little bit. But as the fight goes on, I just feel like the calf kicks of Cannonier will catch up. He's going to start to find him more and more with his punches. He's going to be able to step through and land shots at the end of his combinations. And I think it's going to be competitive through round 1 and 2. Like maybe MVP wins round 1. Cannonier gets a takedown in round 2. It's kind of nothing on the feet. Maybe he lands a big shot. He kind of steals round 2. I think in round 3 or at some point in this fight on the break of a clinch, he's going to drop MVP with like an elbow or a hook or a big calf kick, kind of sits down MVP and Cannonier jumps on him, starts landing some ground and pound. I think that type of moment is going to seal this fight for him. I'm going to say Jared Cannonier wins this fight by decision, 29-28. Maybe a TKO if he drops MVP badly and follows up, but I don't see this as just like a Bull versus Matador type of fight. I feel like Cannonier is well-rounded enough to mix in the clinch and get takedowns, uses calf kicks, uses clinch, uses elbows to hurt MVP. And I just don't think MVP has that finishing ability that he had in Bellator in the UFC. So I feel like he's going to just be running around, point fighting. And I think Cannonier is a big step up compared to the other guys that he's fought in like Kevin Holland and Shara Bullet. Like I don't really rate those wins that highly. Like you beat Kevin Holland by split decision, you beat Shara Bullet by boring fucking decision. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't rate that. I think Cannonier would beat the fuck out of those guys and probably more impressively, So, I'm going to say Jared Cannonier wins this fight by decision, but it's going to be close. I mean, MVP, he's good at making these boring, close fights. So, yeah, he'll do that. And no one will hate on him because he's MVP. I don't know why. Next fight of the night, featured fight. I'm very, very excited this. We got Jeff Neal versus CP. I've been watching a lot of CP to prepare for this, bro. This joke's never gonna get old, dude. I'm never letting go of this fucking CP joke. It's so funny. I'm sorry, dude. It's just beautiful. It's so well crafted. You can just drop it. Whatever reaction you get from it, you're gonna laugh, But no, I'm picking Carlos Prates to win this fight. I'm gonna say Carlos Prates wins this fight by decision. I know most people are probably picking him by knockout. I was thinking about it, but I'm going to say Jeff Neal is durable. He's very tough. He will probably mix in takedowns and clinching and stuff like that. I think he can survive 15 minutes against Carlos Prates. I think that Prates will outstrike Jeff Neal, and that's why I'm picking him, because Jeff Neal kind of struggles with like long, rangier strikers, and I'm talking about all skill levels of rangy strikers. I can understand having a hard time hitting fucking Ian Gary and Wonderboy, but this guy has losses to fucking Kevin Holland. This guy was getting outboxed by Shavkat Rakhmonov in moments. This guy lost to fucking Neil Magny. Okay, dude? And I think that we're gonna see, similar to those fights, especially the Shavkat fight and the Gary fight, the defense and the movement of Carlos Prates and just how much more in control of range he really is, because he has more, head kicks, knees, front kicks. Just the Muay Thai range is just going to be a little bit more versatile than what Jeff Neal does, which is just boxing, and then he mixes in a head kick every now and then and tries to chin you. I think we're going to see Jeff Neal swinging and missing a lot, hitting the cage, trying to hit Prates. Prates pulls his head out of the way. Prates getting tagged a little bit with jabs. I think the hook cross of Neal is going to hit him a couple of times, but I also see Carlos Prates kind of stepping off, cutting angles, making Jeff Neal miss, popping the jab kind of nonchalantly to set up like head kicks, body kicks. And I think especially the knees to the body, both out in the open. And even in that clinching range where Jeff Neal gets really aggressive and he kind of runs into you and starts clinching you, I think that because of Prates' Muay Thai style and his experience, he's going to be able to wear at Jeff Neal with knees to the body. And I think the biggest weapon for him in this fight is going to be the 1-2 down the middle. I think the head kicks are going to be super effective for him. Even just switching stances. I know that it's southpaw versus southpaw. I think that's good for Prates. Fighting a boxer, I think he's going to be able to land really good calf kicks going southpaw versus southpaw, but I see Prates switching stances, throwing hard right side head kicks against Jeff Neal and really keeping his guard up and making him kind of fire second. And I think that Carlos Prates is just going to be using those weapons to win by decision. I think he's going to be a little bit better defensively. I think the boxing defense is a little bit sus. I definitely see Jeff Neal using that uppercut that Ian Gary was using against Prates. I think Jeff Neal's going to land good 1-2s, good hook crosses down the middle. But I think for the most part, it's going to be Prates outstriking him, switching stances to land that head kick, throwing, teeps to the body, 1-2s down the middle. Getting counted from time to time, but just doing a little bit more, and especially the calf kicks, I think are going to be a big factor, and the knees to the body. I think he's going to hurt Jeff Neal to the body at least once in this fight. But outside of that, Jeff Neal's pretty fucking durable. Like, he's a big 170-pounder, and he has pretty similar power, so I'm going to say that Prates will respect him. He's not going to bully him. I think it's going to be Carlos Prates winning by decision, potentially mixing in some clinching. I think if anybody shoots a takedown, it's going to be Jeff Neal. But I'm going to just say Carlos Prates is just a better striker. He's going to hurt him to the body at some point. I think he's going to throw head kicks, front kicks, 1-2s down the middle. And he's going to win a fight of the night banger decision. I'm going to say Prates 29-28, and Jeff Neal acts like he got robbed. That's what I'll say. And I feel like you can definitely picture that. Carlos Prates wins unanimous 29-28. Jeff Neal and his coaches act like he got fucking robbed, like they always do. And I think if there's a finish, it's probably Prates chinning Jeff Neal with like a step-in knee to the face. Like Neal steps in for a combo. Ian Gary caught him with a really nasty knee. I could see Prates doing the same. Just stepping into a big knee to the face. Or like a left hand down the middle as Jeff Neal's blitzing in, just drops him bad. But I'm going to say Prates by decision. That's my pick. 29-28. All right, man. Speaking of unanimous decisions, Lerone Murphy, bro. The future of the division, bro. I truly believe I deserve a title shot, bro. I'm one win away, bro. I'm the miracle, bro. Lerone Murphy will be taking on Aaron Pico in the co-main event. I've been fence-sitting this one tremendously. I've been going back and forth. I've been watching tape. I've been reaching out to spiritual consultants, family, friends, trying to decide who I'm going to pick for this fight. I'm going to pick Lerone Murphy by decision. I've played these games before. I got fucking bamboozled by Patricio Pitbull, by Patricio Chihuahua. I got fucking bamboozled by Patchy stuck in the mud mix. And I'm not doing this shit again, dude. Aaron Pico, I'm not picking you, bruh. Show me something, dude. I'm picking Leon Murphy to win this fight by decision. I think that he's going to. And the thing that makes me mad is I don't even think Murphy's that good. I'm not even like a British, oh my days. Lerone Murphy, mate, this guy's going to be the bloody champion. Oh my goodness, the way that he throws a bloody elbow. Oh my days. Nobody wins a 29-28 decision like Lerone Murphy. I'm not even glazing this guy as like he's so elite, dude. But I just think that he is good at winning a decision and avoiding danger, and he's well-rounded, and he's been in the UFC for a long time, and he's ranked highly in the UFC. He has solid wins like Josh Emmett, Dan Ige. These are solid wins. But the thing that pisses me off not picking Aaron Pico is I feel like Aaron Pico is going to have big moments in this fight, dude. I don't think Aaron Pico is going to go out there looking like Patricio Pitbull and fucking Patchy Mix, like he's coming off a spinal surgery or something. I think Aaron Pico is going to pressure him early on with the boxing. I think he has really accurate wrestling. I've watched a lot of his fights, and if he shoots a single leg, he's probably going to get it. Like, he shoots a single leg, he's good at either turning the corner or he can trip you with his other leg and take you down and get your back and start landing ground and pound. He does a really good job of landing shots on the break, of getting a takedown, you get back up, you're up against the fence. Pico will land big shots every single time against that. And I think in the first round, we're going to see a pretty bad round from Lerone Murphy. I think that he's either going to get dropped and nearly finished. I can see him just doing the jelly leg animation. Like, if you rewatch Dan Ige versus Lerone Murphy, please tell me I'm wrong that you could see Aaron Pico doing this exact same thing to him. I could really see Aaron Pico just getting in his face with his hands up, with his fucking blockhead, haircut, dropping him really badly with like a left hook. I think the body shots of Aaron Pico are going to be effective early on. Or in the first round, take down Lerone Murphy with a big slam. But I think as the fight goes on, Lerone Murphy's going to lock in, and he's going to use his kicks, his well-roundedness, and he's going to point fight to a decision win, because this is what he fucking does, dude. Like I said, I think early on, Pico's going to show good pressure with the boxing. He has big power. I think Lerone Murphy's going to respect the power a lot, and he's going to put his hands up really high. And I think that's going to open up takedowns for Aaron Pico early on. But Murphy has shown that when he gets taken down, he can scramble. He can threaten a triangle or something off his back. I definitely feel like he's going to do that at some point, is threaten a triangle, maybe almost get Pico with one or an armbar and, get back up. And I also see him using counters like knees, elbows, front kicks, head kicks at range to kind of avoid Pico, because in the boxing, I think this guy is completely fucked if he tries to box with Pico. I don't think, if I'm Lerone Murphy, I'm not even throwing a fucking jab with commitment. I'm just literally feinting the hands to throw head kicks, body kicks. I'm hoping to time him with a knee as he comes in. I think that could be something there for him. Because in the boxing, it's just not up to par, dude. And I think if they trade in the pocket, Aaron Pico will land hard body shots and touch his chin with hooks, with uppercuts. But I just trust Leon Murphy's decision abilities. I need to see Pico show up in the UFC before I pick him. Like, I need to know how good he actually is. If he comes into this fight and he's just stuck in the mud like Patchy Mix, then I'll know, okay, dude, Bellator's absolutely cooked. Like, all the plot armor went to Michael Chandler, and even he's run out of it. And MVP, right? But if he shows up and he looks good, but he loses a close decision, which is what I think's going to happen, then okay, I could see him beating some of the guys in this top 15, because he is young. And like I said, there's a lot of things I like about him going into this fight. I don't think he's fought the best competition. He hasn't even fought the same level of guys that like Michael Chandler and MVP and Pitbull fought comparative to Bellator to the UFC, but he's shown so much potential. And like I said, I think round one, he's going to get in Lerone Murphy's face, drop him really badly, or take him down really easily, control him. But I think in round 2 and 3, Lerone Murphy is so crafty. He is a crafty 35-year-old prospect. He's going to be landing front kicks to the bodies, elbows as counters when Pico blitzes in. He's going to be using head kicks to keep the guard up. And I think that he's going to be able to scramble off his back, threaten submissions, and I think he's going to win a 29-28 decision. And people are going to cry robbery. They're going to call him boring. Probably me included, but that's what I see happening in this co-main event. I'm going to say Leon Murphy locks in and gets a decision. I don't know, though. Like, I'm kind of rooting for Aaron Pico. I kind of want Aaron Pico to win this fight just because I want to be like, yeah, dude, Bellator plot armor. But I'm sorry. I've just been burned by fucking Patchy Mix and fucking Patricio Chihuahua, dude. I'm not doing it, man. Lerone Murphy by decision, all right? Main event. Bro, I didn't say this is going to be an easy fight for Chamay. I just said it's not going to be a hard fight for him, bro. Totally different, bro. I'm picking Hamza Chamay by decision. I could see an early finish, but I'm going to give DDP his respect. I'm going to say Chimaev by decision. I see this matchup, and I did a whole video about why I'm picking Chimaev by decision and why I don't buy into the cardio narrative. You can check that video out after this, but what it comes down to stylistically, I see this matchup similar to like Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley, dude. And I'm not comparing them. I'm just kind of making a compare. I'm not saying they're the same. I'm just making a comparison, bro. Okay, totally different, bro. But you've got a big explosive striker with athletic grappling, good defense, good wrestling, especially against better strikers like pure strikers, which is what mainly DDP has fought. Like, people love to say Chimaev hasn't fought anyone like DDP. DDP has fought straight up striker, except for Derek Brunson, who ragdolled him early on. Hamza Chamay, in my opinion, has actually fought more versatile opponents. He's fought strikers, he's fought wrestlers, he's fought jiu-jitsu guys. I think that Chimaev is going to out-grapple DDP. And I think that he can consistently get takedowns. We saw it even in his worst performances. I think that he has a solid enough game to not get finished or really get tagged up by DDP on the feet. And I really feel like the way that DDP fights and the way that he blitzes in opens him up. And this is why I compare it to Usman Buckley, is I can just see DDP blitzing in and Chimaev just ducks under, takes him down again and again and again. Just double leg, boom, runs him into the cage. He's sitting on his butt. Chimaev immediately gets on his back, just controls him, starts landing little ground and pound. And DDP has to keep getting up again and again and again. And I feel like not only does that open him up for takedowns, but I can even see Chimaev landing straight jabs down the middle, which he's really good at, as well as his uppercut. Like when DDP starts to high guard as he gets tired, I think Chimaev can land the uppercut even if he's tired as well. And when it comes to the cardio, I think that's one thing that people really look at against Hamza. I made a whole video discussing this, but I think his gas tank will look improved in this fight. I don't think he's a 2-round fighter, and he just dies of cardio once it leaves round 2. And I feel like when you look at DDP's fights, there's so many moments where he looks exhausted against Adesanya and against Strickland in the first fight, against Brunson, against Till, but he still wins anyways. And that I could just say the exact same thing for Chimaev. If anything, I think DDP looks more tired in those fights than Chimaev has looked in any other fight. Maybe the Bones fight is an exception, but I would say DDP looked more tired against Adesanya and Brunson and Till in moments than Chimaev has looked in any of his fights. I think DDP has so much heart and durability that I'm not going to say Chimaev just steamrolls him. I think he's really good at overwhelming people and they try to contain him. But I will say this about who DDP has fought and who he's beat. Most of them are strikers, which in my opinion benefits DDP. Even though he's kind of goofy on the feet and he has moments of getting outstruck, it benefits him to fight just a pure striker because he's in charge of the pace by not only being able to mix in his wrestling and his grappling, which is very good, but just being more powerful and explosive and aggressive means he can blitz into these technical strikers and make them fight a little bit more sloppy, right? Like I feel like that was such a big reason why he beat Strickland and why he beat Whitaker and why he beat Adesanya. Versus when you look at him against Brunson, the only grappler that he's fought, basically, Brunson took him down and fucking ragdolled him. That's just what it is, dude. He took him down, completely dominated him in the first round in the wrestling, took his back, threatened to choke at the end of the first round. But Brunson has dog shit striking, no chin, no cardio, so he couldn't fucking keep it up. I don't think Chimaev is going to gas out like Derek Brunson. I think he's a better grappler than Derek Brunson. I think he's a better striker than Derek Brunson. I think he has a better chin than Derek Brunson. I think he has better cardio than Derek Brunson. And I think DDP's style opens him up to easy takedowns for Chimaev that will help him go long in this fight without having to use so much energy to take down DDP. I think early on, if he just shoots straight away, it's going to be hard for him to hold down DDP. But I think as the fight goes on, DDP's blitzes will make it so that Chimaev, who in my opinion is the best grappler in the middleweight division, if not the entire UFC, in terms of his ability to like take you down, get on your back and beat the shit out of you and take zero damage, I see him being able to control DDP and just settle him down and just rest in some positions. And I feel like with the blitzes of DDP, it's going to help him get easy takedowns as the fight goes on. We saw even against Usman, like I said, probably his worst performance. Round 2 and 3, the rounds that people say he lost, he still is able to get clutch takedowns and control time against Kamaru fucking Usman, who's not a small welterweight, who's a big welterweight that could easily fight at middleweight, who's an elite level grappler and wrestler, with clean striking, even on short notice. Usman is a great fucking win. We saw what he did to Robert Whitaker. And I feel like with DDP, his cardio versus Chimaev's cardio, I think DDP has dictated the pace in all of his fights that he's fought. And that's why he's able to, even when tired, slow down other people and push the pace. I don't think he's in charge of the pace against Chimaev. I think Chimaev is going to be more in charge of the pace because he is the better wrestler. He can and will take down DDP. He can decide whether they're wrestling or they're standing up, and he can rest in control positions as the better grappler, especially on the back, and make DDP use his physicality to get up. He can, DDP, and he will. DDP does a good job of getting back up from being held down. He uses submissions really well to get sweeps and get back up, but I think that Chimaev's going to be able to take him down consistently, out-scramble him consistently, get on his back, control him. And I think he's going to be able to land ground and pound, threaten submissions. And I think that the way that DDP fights means that Chimaev's going to get consistent takedowns when he needs them every single round. And I think the cardio thing is overblown. And the reason why I say Chimaev by decision is because DDP has great toughness, great durability, great heart, and he will survive submission attempts, especially in the first round. I feel like it's going to be a 10-8, but DDP's going to survive some sort of sub attempt. And get back up and maybe start pouring it on at the end of the first round. People are like, oh my God, Chimaev's slowing down. But I think overall, if I have to say why I'm picking Chimaev, I'm going to say DDP's aggressiveness Yes, it is effective against strikers, but I think against a wrestler like Chimaev, it's going to be used against him. He's going to run into big takedowns and get easily taken down in moments, get controlled by Chimaev for long stretches in every single round. Like I said, we've seen even the worst Chimaev performances. Against Burns, where he slowed down, he gets a second wind, he starts pouring it on, he wins the third round against Burns. Against Usman, it's close on the feet, he gets a takedown even with a broken hand in all 3 rounds and controls Usman. He doesn't get back up, right? And we've seen him every time he gets to these spots, no one is out scrambling him, no one is getting back up. Most of the time, they are getting their back taken, they're getting beat up, they're getting sub attempts, and I think that Chimaev is going to consistently be able to do that throughout this fight. I think it's going to be like a Chimaev 48-46 decision, maybe a 49-45. I think it's going to be a 10-8 in the first round, and then DDP makes some sort of adjustment. Maybe he stops blitzing in and starts, fighting a little bit more tactically, and he wins a close round, like round 4 or 5. And people still act like Chimaev has bad cardio because he slowed down or something in round 5. I don't know, but I think Chimaev's going to win this fight. I'm picking Chimaev to win this fight. I think that the cardio narrative is really overblown. I think that people say like all this shit against Chimaev in favor of DDP that you could easily flip for him, and I wish people wouldn't do that and they would just look at the stylistic matchup for what it is, which is going to be a fucking banger, dude. I'm super excited for this fight. I cannot wait to see what DDP does to counteract Chimaev's game and vice versa. But yeah, I think Chimaev is just a better grappler. I think he has solid striking. I think he has underrated, toughness and ability to get in a scrap and get a second win and bite down and grit down and fight. And I think he can consistently get takedowns and control DDP. And I think he can avoid a lot of damage and ride out a lot of control time in this fight. Threaten subs, land ground and pound, really dominate in the grappling. And that's going to be the difference in this fight. I'm going to say Chimaev by decision. Let me know your opinions in the comments down below if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. I'm so fucking hyped for this card, bro. So I'd love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments. Thank you guys for 90k subscribers. That's absolutely insane. We'll do something big for 100k for sure. But yeah, appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video, man. Goodbye.